So yesterday I already shared the new syllabus that we received from SPPU, and if you compare the new syllabus with the syllabus that I discussed in my class number 1, so you may find that there is a little deviation, and whatever deviation will be there, I'm going to cover that part as well, so you need not to worry about it. So you can see that in unit number 1, in previous syllabus there was a bisection method only. Now that word bisection method is replaced by bracketing method. So we know that in bracketing methods say there are so many other methods, and in the syllabus discussion committee it is decided that in bracketing method we are going to cover two methods. One is bisection method and second one is regular falsy method. So we already covered bisection method. So in today's session, we will be covering regular falsy method. So with this, I will go directly to the slide where regular falsy method is there. And at the beginning, I would like to tell you that if you have any kind of question or any doubt, then you need to unmute yourself and ask the question. Don't hesitate to ask questions, because your questions will help to improve your understanding level. Okay, so regular falsy method, it is also called as method of false position. It is also called as interpolation method. So whenever in the examination there will be a question related to this method, one of the name may be used. So do not get confused between these names. It may be called as regular falsy method or method of false position or interpolation or false position method. So the meaning is same. Yeah, so you can see this is the oldest method of finding the root of a function f of x. So if when you go through the mathematics of this particular method, you may see that this method has several resemblance with the bisection method, and this method is older than that of bisection method. And if you compare the rate of conversion, then in most of the problems regular falsy method gives faster result as compared to bisection method. So with this introduction, we will start with the mathematics. So in the figure you can see that there is a y-axis. Let me select the pen. Yeah. So you can see here y-axis and x-axis, and a dark black color curve, which is a function f of x, and we are interested into this particular root. So initially we may have these 2 points, A whose x coordinate is x naught and y coordinate is f of x naught, and B, that is another point that we know, and its coordinates are x1 and f of x1. And with these two initial approximations, we are going to see how we reach towards the root of the equation by using regular falsy method. So in this method, we select 2 points, x0 and x1. So in the figure, you can see that here is first point x0, which is corresponding to point A x0 f of x0, and second point is x1, and that is the x-intercept of point B, and these 2 points A and B are such that the product of f of x0 and f of x1 have opposite sign, or we can say that f of x0 multiplied by f of x1 less than 0. That this condition we already discussed in bisection method. So whenever the product of f of x naught and f of x1 is less than 0, then we say that there is at least one root lies between point A and B, that is x naught and x1. So in the figure you can see that for given example there is a root between point A and B, or x naught and x1. Then what we do in order to reach to the root, because we have point A and point B, and somewhere there is a root of the equation, and we need to understand the philosophy of or methodology of regular falsi method, how we move towards the root of the equation. So as I mentioned, we have 2 points A and B. So let's join these 2 points by means of a straight line. You can see here, with the help of a straight line, we join point A and B. Let's call this as a chord. And what we do for this straight line AB, we prepare an equation for the straight line, because if we know the coordinates of point A, B and the point x2 where the straight line intersects the x-axis, that we can find out by using this particular equation, that is f of x2. This f of x2 is related to the f of x2. Here you can see in the figure, it is related to the point where the straight line intersect the x-axis. Yeah, of course you may say that f of x2 will be 0. That is true, but initially with the help of these 3 points we are going to prepare the equation of the straight line. So f of x2 minus f of x naught, here you can see, divided by x2 minus x naught. So divided by x2 minus x naught, which is equal to f of x1 minus f of x naught divided by x1 minus x naught. So if there is a straight line, and if you know the 3 points on that straight line, then with the help of this equation we can prepare the equation for the straight line. Now what we will do, as we are interested in x2, because this may be a first approximation of the root, so we rewrite this equation and we rewrite in terms of x2. So x2 is equal to x naught minus x1 minus x naught divided by f of x1 minus f of x naught into f of x naught. And here, as I mentioned previously, f of x2 is 0. Why? Because whatever point we have taken on the straight line AB, and which is at intersecting point with x-axis, the f of x2 is 0, as I already mentioned. So this particular term will become 0, and whatever remaining terms we have, we rewrite the equation as x2 equal to, where we can say that x2 is an approximation of the root. So this is the x2 and this is the actual root, and therefore we can say that x2 is the first approximation of the root. And what we need to do, we need to slowly move towards the actual root of the equation. So now we have x2. So nextly what we will do, we will draw a vertical line from x2 and that intersect the curve. And here we can say that, let's say this particular point is C, and it will have 2 coordinates. One is x2 and f of x2. But here x2 and f of x2 is related to this particular point. Then again we check whether the product of f of x2 and f of x naught are less than 0 or not. If this condition is satisfied, then we can say that root lies between point A and point C. And in this case, this condition is true, but in many cases, this condition will not be true. So in that case, again, what we will do, we will check f of x2 and f of x1, its product is less than equal to 0 or not. If it is less than 0, then we can say that root lies between point C and B. But in this particular example, you can say that f of x0 has positive sign, and f of x2, which is here, which is on the negative side of the y, has negative sign. So therefore, the product of f of x0 and f of x2 is less than 0, and therefore root lies between point A and C. When this condition is true, we draw again a straight line that connects the point A and C. That will be a straight line. In the figure, there is a bit of mismatch between the actual point and the straight line that you can see, but we will assume that both points are same. Okay, so once you draw this straight line, then we will have 3 points. A, this particular point corresponding to x3, and this particular point, let's say, as I already mentioned, C. So again, for this particular straight line, we will again prepare an equation like this. And this time, this equation will be x3 equal to whatever terms will be on the right side. So this is how we can reach to the next approximation. Again, what we are going to do, we are going to repeat this process again and again till we reach to the exact solution or the accuracy of the root in which we were interested. So this is how mathematically this particular method works in order to get the root of the equation. So this is about the mathematics. Now what we will do, we will go to example and we will see how this particular method works. So the problem is find a root of the equation x cube minus 2x minus 5 equal to 0. This equation is given to you, and by the method of Hell's position correct to 4 decimal places. So the name of the method is mentioned, regular falsy, and accuracy is up to 4 decimal places is expected. So first step is, of course, write down the given equation and let's call it as equation number 1. So f of x is equal to x cube minus 2x minus 5 will be your equation number 1. Now, in case of regular falsy method, again, we need 2 initial approximations. So we will find out the 2 initial approximations between which root will be there. So first, we will put x is equal to 1 in this equation, and upon simplification, you can see f of 1 is equal to 1 cube minus 2 into 1 minus 5, and upon simplification, you will get minus 6. So when x equal to 1, f of 1 will be minus 6. That is negative f of 1 will be there. Again, we will put x is equal to 2 in equation number 1. So f of 2 will be equal to 2 cube minus 2 into 2 minus 5. So you will get this, and upon simplification, you will get f of 2 as negative sign. So f of 1 and f of 2 both have negative signs. So there is no root between 1 and 2, we can say. Then again, we will go to next step, and here we are going to put x equal to 3 in equation number 1. And once you do that, you can see that f of 3 becomes 3 cube minus 2 into 3 minus 5, and the answer is 16. So f of 3 has positive sign. So therefore we can say that f of 2 and f of 3 have opposite signs, and therefore root lies between 2 and 3. So let's say x naught equal to 2 and x1 equal to 3, and for which f of x naught has negative sign and f of x1 has positive sign, you can see here, and therefore root lies between x naught and x1. So these are the two initial approximations. Instead of x naught and x1, you can again, just like bisection method, you can start with a and b. So that is up to you what notations you want to use. Therefore, with the help of regular-Falsy method, we will try to find out approximations. So x naught, x1 we have, we will then calculate x2. So x2 is equal to x naught minus x1 minus x naught upon f of x1 minus f of x naught into f of x naught. So this formula we already derived, and here we know that x naught is 2, x1 is 3, f of x1 is 16, f of x naught is minus 1. So put all the known values in this equation, and upon simplification you will get x2 is equal to 2.0588. so this is your next approximation, or we can say this is the first approximation by using regular-Falsy method. Now once you get the value of x2, we need to find out f of x2. So put x2 equal to 2.0588 in equation number 1 and simplify that equation. So f of x2 has negative sign. Now what we will do, we will check previous approximation, that is value of x, for which f of x will have positive sign. So when you check with the previous values, you can see here when x is equal to 3, there is a positive sign for f of 3. Therefore, we can say that the root lies between x2 and x1, where x2 is 2.0588 and x1 is 3. And f of x1 and f of x2 have negative signs, or their product has has value less than minus 1. So we can say that root lies between x2 and x1. Therefore, again we go to next step and we can calculate the second iteration. So x3 is equal to x2 minus x1 divided by f of x2 minus f of x1 into f of x2, where x2 is 2.0588, x2 we submitted the value, x1 is 3, f of x2 is minus 0.3911, and f of x1 is 16, and again f of x2. So we put all the known values into this equation, and upon simplification you will get x3 as 2.0813. So here one important thing I would like to mention here, while calculating x2, we took x naught and f of x naught here, because the middle term we can understand, but here we took x naught, f of x naught, but while calculating x3 we took x2 and f of x2 instead of x1 and f of x1. So ultimately the meaning is same. How we rearrange the term and simplify the equation that we discussed in previous slide. So there is no end effect on the answer. So when you take x2 and f of x2, the middle term will be same. Okay. For example, x1 minus x2 if you take, and f of x1 minus f of x2, you can put this sign this sign will remain same. And if you rearrange the term like this, again the sign remains same because both have negative sign, and we are taking the common negative sign. So the advantage of this particular method is either you are taking here the latest approximation or previous approximation, there is no end effect on the result. But yes, the way we write the formula is very important, because here you cannot do any kind of mistake. Okay, then again we will come back to our problem. So we got x3 as 2.0813, and for which we will put the value of f of x3 x3 in the equation number 1 and calculate f of x3. And upon simplification you can see that f of x3 as minus sign, that is minus 0.1468. And previously we know that when we put x1 in the equation number 1, we get f of x1 as positive sign. Therefore root lies between x3 and x1. So with these two values we calculate next iteration. Therefore x4 is equal to x3 minus x1 upon f of x3 minus f of x1 into f of x3. So put x3 as 2.0813, x1 as 3, f of x3, f of x1, put all the values in this equation and simplify the same. And upon simplification you will get x4 as 2.0897. Similarly, we calculate f of x4, putting x4 in equation number 1, you will get negative sign, that is f of x4 as minus 0.0540. Now one very interesting observation is that just to wait, student, just a minute. Patil. But yes. I know. कोणाच्या खात्यात पैसे जमा करायचे? ठीक आहे. कॅश असेल तर कॅश. एक थोड्या वेळाने आम्ही जमा करतो. लेक्चर झालं की hello friends. Yeah. So f of x4 has a negative sign. Therefore we can say that root lies between x4 and x1 as f of x1 has positive sign. So we calculate x5 and it is 2.0928. Again we calculate f of x5. So very interesting thing here is that when you look at the values of f of x3, f of x4, f of x5, slowly that value is moving towards the 0. It is an indication of we are moving towards the root of the equation. Again, when you check the values of x4, x5, then the difference between these two values becoming low. So ultimately we can say that we are moving towards the root of the equation. So again we calculate f of x5. So it has negative sign. So therefore we can say that root lies between x5 and x1, as f of x1 has positive sign. So we calculated x6 and the answer is 2.0939. Then x6, x7 and so on. So here I am just doing the iterations without wasting time. So you can see here x8 is 2.0945 and x9 is 2.0945. So two successive approximations have same value, so we can say that we received the root of the equation at a desired level of accuracy, and therefore we can say that the root of the equation is 2.0945. So this is how we calculate the root of the equation by using regular falsy method. One more question you may ask here, that is, here we went up to ninth iteration, so it may take some more time when you solve the problem in the examinations. So in that case, what I will tell you, during the syllabus discussion that took place in the university, it is decided that it is expected to calculate the root up to 4 steps. That is, you can move up to x4, that is 4 iterations you need to calculate. Now we will see how we can prepare a flowchart. So first we will start the Python. Then from the given problem we define function f of x. Then we start with value a and b. In the given problem we started with x0 and x1, but as I mentioned, you can start with a and b, whatever notations. Approach should be correct. So a will be your first approximation and b will be the second approximation. Then we check if f of a equal to 0. If this value equal to 0, then we can say that a is a root of the equation, because f of a becomes 0. So that curve intersecting to the x-axis at point a. So a could be the root of the equation. Then if this condition is not true, then we check if f of b equal to 0. If this condition is true, then we say that b is the root of the equation. Again, if this condition is not true, then we check if f of a multiplied by f of b is greater than 0. If this condition is true, then we can say that root does not lie between a and b, and therefore again we go back to step number 3 and repeat the process by changing the values of a and b. So again you need to repeat these processes, and once this particular condition becomes failed, so we can say that the root lies between a and b, and by using regular falsy method and this particular loop, we can find out the approximations and the root of the equation up to desired level of accuracy. Here you need to define the accuracy of the result, and in order to maintain the accuracy and verify the accuracy, we are calculating first of all error, and then we will be using while loop, and as long as the error value is greater than the accuracy, the required accuracy, I can say, till this particular loop will be executed, and once the absolute value of error will be equal to or less than accuracy, we will come out of the loop, and we can say that the latest value of x will be the root of the equation, and we will print that value, and that will be the end of the program. Here in this particular box you may have a bit confusion as it is related to program. So I will explain that separately. So we have value of a and b, initial approximation between which root is there. We need to define the value of accuracy just like this in this problem. The accuracy should be up to 4 decimal points. So in that way you can define the accuracy here. Then we need to calculate the error, that is the difference between a and b, and we need to take the difference between the absolute value of a and absolute value of b, because root may be positive or negative. So that's why we are sticking to the rule that taking the absolute value, so that whatever difference will be there, that will be assigned to error. Then in order to repeat the regular falsy method, because we use the same process till 8-9 iterations, so for that we will use while loop. And how long that while loop will work? As long as the absolute value of error is greater than accuracy. So we put the while loop and condition. Then here we are writing the formula for root regular falsy method. X is equal to a minus b minus a upon f of b minus f of a into f of a. So you can write this formula as per your derivation. Then once you get the value of x, then we check if the product of f of x and f of a is less than 0. If this condition is true, then we assign b equal to x, so that again we can say that root lies between a and b, and again program will come back to the previous steps and it will execute again. If this condition is not true, then we will check the product of f of x and f of b is less than 0. If this condition is true, then we can assign a equal to x, so that again situation remains same, that is root lies between a and b. Again program will repeat the procedure. And again we are putting one important point, that is error equal to absolute value of a minus absolute value of b. So every time the program will check the value of error, because whenever we get a new value of error, it will use to check the condition in the while loop, and if this condition is true for latest value of error, the program will be executed. Once this condition becomes failed, the program will come out of the loop, and we can say that whatever will be the latest value of x, that will be the root of the equation. So that's it from my side. So if you have any question from your end, the session is open for discussion.